So this is my DSR project. It's a ZERO DSR. It's a great bike, but there are two small things I have to change to begin with. One of them is the most important one. It's the front wheel. You see, it touches the ground and it's almost impossible to get it to do a wheelie. And afterwards, or during that process, I'd like to change the design. I think it's a great design, but if you look at this, it's ugly, and there's some certain things I'd like to change to make it my own bike, because it rides perfectly. It overheats a little if you want to drive hard for a long time, but yeah, it's just great. But to see what I've built earlier, and I would like to maybe take some hints from that and put it into this design. So this is more of my style. It's an electric bike I built actually a few years ago, and I love it. I love the design, but it's actually quite slow compared to the ZERO. It has similar range. I don't know if you can see, but it's a pretty big battery. It actually almost the same capacity, but it got a DC motor in there. It has better suspension and things like that. But yeah, I love the bike. I love the design of it. But it needs a rebuild soon, I guess. But instead of doing that, I thought I'd keep it as it is and then just focus on this one. This is my OPD port. I've located it here instead, so it's easy to get at without removing seats and things like that. And it's just like in a car, but the plan is to connect my laptop using this cable and then access the inverter located here. And it's, how can I say this except for don't do this at home. It's a great controller, but it's not without its flaws. It's basically it's so complicated to reprogram that one false move, it's dead, and you are in a lot of trouble. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. And it's there's so many variables, and so actually I won't show you exactly how I do it, because you might blow your motor, because you can change everything in there. You can change the RPMs on the motor, which if you do that, you'll have a higher top speed, which would be enticing. But I'm not going to do any of that, but I'll just show you how to connect the laptop to the bike, and then maybe do a video on a later date, because I'm not a fan of the controller, let's say that way, so I won't try to teach you how to reprogram it, because I hate it. Basically it's a Zefcon generation 4 size 6, and it's obviously built by brilliant people without the how can I say it, the ability to make an interface that's usable. So I've turned the bike on, and this is actually the first attempt of getting through. I click the DVT program. Oh, and if you watch this, we're at 500 kilohertz, and we have communication. So what you want to begin with is go up here. Oh, those ice bikes. It tells me no EDS file found. Procedure without one will result in program error. Would you like to create one? Let's think. Yeah, let's do that. So as you can see, it's still working happily here, and it tells me down here 0% complete. I guess that means I have to wait. Oh, something's happening. 10%. Yeah, you get the picture. Oh, and while we wait, this is kind of hard. If you're into zero modifications, I can highly recommend you go to Newzeroland. It's a guy from New Zealand who's building, or doing kind of the same things that I'm doing, except he's putting fairings on an SR and going around New Zealand and doing great stuff. I can only recommend you going there. So now it says it's done, but it also says done saving parameters already logged in at a higher level. I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah. Let's see. So if you go up here, you can actually, you're in the bike's controller right now, and you can see stuff like baseline, what the settings are, ramp times and things. For instance, if you look here, maximum torque is set at 100, so you can't change that. Drive profile 1 is actually the profile for the eco mode. So if you watch, it's just set at 48%. That means you could actually go in here and change the baseline profile to the same if you want your wife to drive the bike, or your kids, so they won't get into nearly as much mischief. But the most important thing before you do anything in here, you go into, let's see, save the DCF. This means it's the base map of the controller. And again, if I'm incorrect, please tell me in the comments, because yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm used to other brands of controllers that are much more user friendly. So yeah, I'll just save this as something. And it's the 28th 11. Yeah, in Denmark we do it the other way around. So let's just call it this. And save. So now as you can see, it's working. And while we're working, this is extremely hot, so, and this is a soda, it's not a beer. It's almost the Danish national drink. Still saving. So now it says done saving parameters. So now you can actually go back on the H, and you could change the ramp times, for instance. If you go in and do it like this. Oh, and you have certain things you can do here. Go pre-operational. Some of the changes need requires you going pre-operationals and go operational. But yeah, and you can change a lot of things in here and it can get very messy. You can also choose the tree function, and you can go under, for instance, motor, and you have motor data, peak torque, rate, current limit. So for instance, if you go in here, you get your torque slope is set at 2000 it's something per second. And your current limit is set at 660. So let's see, I'm looking at somewhere I can change the way. Oh, I shouldn't show you anymore, sorry, but this is where you change everything. So now I've done some changes. I won't tell you what they are, but they're not what I expected. So it's time to go and see if they work. Well, I wouldn't call it a great success, but I got a little bit of wheel lift at a certain speed and moving my weight around. So a lot of body English makes it possible to lift the front tire. It doesn't do a wheelie, or at least not in my book. A wheelie is when it can balance and it's not even close to that. So I'm only lifting the wheel like 5 inches off the ground or something. So now it's time to do some radical weight loss. A couple of pounds there. And then maybe mess around with the suspension, because yeah, that might also be not the perfect way to do it, but it's a way to do it. So that didn't help either. I tried both the dampening in hard and soft, and it didn't do much difference. So back to the drawing board, but I'm not giving up. So please, thank you for watching, and please share and leave a comment below. Thank you. I would like to thank Travis Gentz from Electromotive Force, who made this cable for me. It's so that you can use the CAN adapter directly to the OBD2 connection on the bike, so you don't need to unplug the controller or anything. He also supplied me with the license for the dongle. Thank you, and a lot of help with setting it up, and I'd like to thank him so much.